Chris Level here with another edition of Patriot Talk. My man Joe Sexton to my left. Colton Coons taking care of us behind the camera, as always. Okay, so this week sets up essentially it's playoffs. I mean,
this is round one of the playoffs for us.
Okay,
That's
so
what we've been talking about.
Levelland, 7 o'clock Friday night. This game will be streamed on a couple of different options on Facebook. We will pass those along to you guys. That can also be heard on 93.1 Yes FM. You go back to last week, you have an opportunity against Estacado. You're up 27-14. Your quarterback ends up getting hurt, and it doesn't end well, and they kind of just outlasted you guys. Right. What your big takeaways from that game versus Estacado was what?
You know, just our physicality. For 3 quarters, it was really good. And then it's crazy in high school football, or really football in general, how dramatic the momentum can jump from one side to the other. And it's just because, you know, for 3 quarters, I think at the end of the third quarter, it was 27-20. And we were playing great. And then all of a sudden, the wind goes out of our sails, and their sails are full, and here they go. So it was, it was a tough one to lose for sure, especially when we had played so good for so long. And after the game, trying to talk to the kids about that it was tough for me, because we've had this same situation happen to us several times this year. Where we're so close to pulling off a good one, and it's just same thing. Yeah, kind of like Groundhog's Day.
Yeah,
but
that's part of growing up and part of the maturity process with a new program, playing a full game and trying to not allow, whether it be an injury or a bad play or whatever, just kind of change the dynamic. But momentum is a real thing. It is. It is.
They had a big play starting the fourth quarter, and we just never quite recovered from it. So.
And there's only so much you can say in those moments and try to learn, but at some point you just have to live through it and be better.
Well, we've lived through it 3 or 4 times this year, so I think that it's gonna definitely help us moving forward. Like we've said before, some of those lessons are not very comfortable, and we've had several learning moments throughout the year, and we're gonna be better for it.
And one takeaway could be, hey, you got beat, but the other takeaway could be the team that won the district. You have them. Well, you're up 27-14, and you're in control of the game and all that, so you can play with the best in your district.
Yeah, there's no doubt that we can put some plays together, and for 3 quarters, like I said, we did. We were right with them, and. I think we frustrated them just a little bit by, how well we were throwing the ball. First play we go, 80, 85 or whatever it was, with Talon, and so that was huge starting off. It was good to see him break a long run like that, and I think he had a good night. And one of the things that you're probably not going to see is how good that Colin Chadwick blocked. I mean, there were some blocks that he had that were kind of snobber knockers. It was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah, dirty work type
stuff.
Yeah,
that's the stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but coaches see it.
Football, man. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and you're right. A lot of that stuff doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Unfortunate situation with Colton Bouchard. He was, I believe, 11 of 16 for 150 at 3 touchdown passes. Takes a shot, and at what point did you realize, okay, this may not be good?
Well, when he got up and he was coming to the sideline, and he told me my shoulder hurts, and had the trainer start feeling on him, and our trainer turned around and looked at us, and he kind of shook his head, and so kind of knew right there it was probably a collarbone. Just the way that he landed over there, I think 3 of them landed on top of him, and collarbones usually don't survive that, kind of depending on how you fall, but it looks like you fell on his shoulder. So, but he's been great this week. He is, helping Cy out, and he's like having another coach back there right now. So, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's hard to quantify this, but I think it's a real thing. But I'm sure everybody on the team looks at that and goes, "Uh-oh." There's just that's a real thing, especially at that position.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and he's one of our leaders. He's been doing such a good job.
And gotten better and better and better.
He's had a great season, and you hate losing anybody, but that's our second collarbone, unfortunately, but he's going to bounce back. He's got such great attitude about things, and it's just like you said, part of the game.
So you call up Cy Leach from the JV that will play in this one versus Levelland. What does he give you? Other than obviously not a lot of experience at all.
No, a lot of it. You want your quarterback to be level-headed. You don't need somebody to freak out back there and
unemotional. Yeah,
he's almost has the same mentality as Colton. Just doesn't get rattled. He will, and he's got to me just watching him play middle school football last year as an 8th grader, and then seeing what he's done with our JV this year, he's got a really high football IQ. Unlike a lot of quarterbacks that will try to throw a fastball every time, no matter what the situation is, Cy does a great job of just throwing touch passes where he needs to, and he can zing one in there if he has to, but he makes it real easy for our receivers to catch the football. Puts it in a good place. He's had, really good practices this week so far, and probably going to have another one this afternoon. And so I've seen nothing but good from him.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, everybody around him will need to step up,
sure,
and play their part. So as you turn the page and you look forward to Friday night versus Levelland, you mentioned that earlier, but playoffs begin now.
For us,
it's a weird dynamic with the district standings and all that. Obviously, it's a 5-team district. 4 teams are going to make it to the playoffs, and you've got to earn that right. What we don't know is that you could still theoretically, it could not go well versus Levelland, and you could still make it in based on the result of another game. But I think that the one thing you can control is if you beat Levelland,
right?
It's a matter of, are you 2 seed, or you 3 seed, or
4 seed?
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Based on point differentials and all the things. So
yeah, there's a lot. But really, the only thing that we've talked about every day since Monday is win and we're in.
Yeah,
just
control the controllables. Yeah,
that's the only thing. In sports, you don't want to have to count on anybody to do your dirty work for you. You want to go out and do it yourself. So before practice every day this week, and after practice every day, we just talk about win and we're in. So just take care of it.
Yeah, and so if it just so we're clear here, if you win, more than likely if you win, you're the 2 or the 3 seed. If you lose, you really need Perrington to win. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So but yeah, just
what's crazy is, like we said, I mean, we can go from 2 to 5th, just like that.
Yeah,
in a span of a few hours. So we're going to be, obviously we want Perrington to beat Borger. So, and then if we take care of our business,
that's best case scenario.
Yep.
That means you've a win-win for all involved. Okay, tell me what you see with Levelland. Am I understanding it correctly? They play 2 different quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Just kind of take me schematically, like what are they going to do? And,
I think we're going to see pretty much the same stuff that we've seen all year. We're going to see a pretty good, 2 pretty good quarterbacks, receivers, pretty good running game. Pretty solid.
Yeah,
and it all starts with their offensive linemen. They've got some big kids up front that lead the way for them, and so we're going to do what we can to slow them down.
Yeah, and I think a freshman running back.
Yes,
I think that's actually done fairly well. But yeah, a couple of receivers that have 8 touchdown catches apiece, and 2 quarterbacks that are playing. So are they different? Are they the same kind of player, or does one run one style and they switch it? I mean, do you have to pay
I don't
attention
think
to who's?
so. I think you're going to get, pretty much the same thing
Okay.
from both of them.
Okay.
So.
Because most schools or most teams, you're not running.
Yeah, you got a runner and a thrower.
If you're playing more than one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just gonna come down to same old thing. We're just gonna have to take care of the ball and just make sure that we keep them off the field as much as possible, limit their possessions, and see what we can do.
Okay. You should get a little football weather on Friday night as well.
Kind of looks like it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you'll get any rain, but there is some rain in the forecast on Thursday and Friday, but I think it should be gone by the time kickoff rolls around, but it should be upper 40s, mid 50s. Yeah. Which is, it's November. I mean, that's playing meaningful football. You're going to get some weather around here.
Well, last week it was 90 degrees a couple of times during practice, so it's I think it's kind of a nice change to go out and practice in sweats for just a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I think Friday night's definitely going to be a little bit cooler. Probably one of the coolest games we've had in the last 2 seasons anyway. So that's good.
And this could go for Levelland, but it could go really for any team that you've played this year. But like when you guys are introduced to a new opponent and you're really looking to break them down, or okay, how do we attack them, or what are they? What are some of the first things you look at when you're looking at another team for the first time?
So the first thing that I do, and this goes back to my defense coordinator days, the very first thing I look at is their offensive line. You know. And I know I'm on the offensive side this year, but I still start every film. I watch, that game all the way through, and all I look at is their offensive linemen. I don't really look at running backs, quarterbacks, because if that offensive line is good, it's going to be a challenge. So I just look at those guys, and then the next time through, I'll turn around and I'll watch their D-line. And D-line and linebacker is kind of what I look at after that. So usually I'll watch one game twice, all the way through on offense, all the way through on defense, just to see kind of
what you're dealing with.
Yeah, what we're going to see. And I think, to me, if your O-line and D-line are dominant, you've got a pretty good chance.
Yeah. Are you? And when you do that, when you're looking at that, are you looking at scheme? Or are you looking at effort? Are you looking at all the
I'm just
above?
looking at individual linemen.
Okay.
Right? Do they? Who's their best lineman? Where do they like to run? And
Okay.
I can see that, and it doesn't take a genius to look over there and go, wow, 74 is pretty good. That's where they're running a lot. So I just look at those individual linemen.
Okay.
And just kind of go from there.
Okay. Well, and that it's just it's an important game, and you don't want it to be your last one.
Nope.
So the Lobos, they lost to Estacado by 5, Perryton by 8, and they beat Borger by a touchdown. So just kind of a tightly contested district.
If you look at the if-then kind of things, it looks like it's going to be a tough game for us.
Yeah.
But that's why we play it. You never know.
Sure. Yeah.
That's why we don't mail them in.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. Okay, so a couple other things for you. If you're driving around some neighborhoods right now that it's November, do Christmas lights belong up in November before Thanksgiving?
You know what? That's funny. We had that conversation the other day about it's Thanksgiving.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of folks who've already got Christmas lights up.
Just
kind of skip.
I know. Yeah.
I kind of like to go in order.
Okay.
I like to.
So you're kind of a no Christmas light or Christmas tree until Thanksgiving at least.
Yeah, let's try to get Thanksgiving over.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. What's the last concert you went to?
Last concert I went to, man, that was a long time ago, probably. Last one that I remember going to, I saw ZZ Top. And,
Okay.
Gosh, who else?
Here in
was
Lubbock?
Yes.
Yeah. Like 38 Special or something?
No, Leonard Skinner.
Okay, there you go. Where was this?
It was in the old Coliseum.
Oh my! That doesn't even exist anymore. It hasn't
No.
existed for several years now. Okay, so that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. It was a
Okay.
good one too.
Okay, favorite ZZ Top song? Most of the, if there's any young people watching this, they're like, who
Yeah,
who
they
is
don't
this
know
group?
who ZZ Top is.
LaGrange or
LaGrange
Sharp
is
Dressed Man?
good. I like Sharp Dressed Man.
Yeah.
Though.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see AC/DC. My brother's been to an AC/DC concert, and he said it's the best one he's ever
Okay.
been to.
There you go.
So,
Yeah, everybody would know that.
yeah, it's I've never had the opportunity, but
Name me an everyday item that you will never have. That a lot of people do have.
an everyday item,
Yeah, like you're just like I don't want that. I'll never have it.
an Apple Watch.
You know what's funny? You and I are semi-simpatico on our answer because I wrote down an
Sometimes.
answer. I wrote down an answer too. Mine was an Android.
Oh, the green, man, drives you crazy.
Yes, it does. I mean, I think I will judge you really hard if you're walking around with an Android phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might, our producer may even operate this way, which is why, we have to, like spell things out for him and explain and all that stuff. But yeah, so an Apple Watch. Okay.
Yeah,
You just got a normal,
Just,
normal Casio.
Casio G-Shock.
Okay. Yeah, and you just, is it too much? Like the Apple Watch?
Yeah,
Like,
well, I've
you
kind
got
of
your phone with you all the time anyway,
yeah,
right?
and when I'm talking to you and you're,
And yeah.
oh, I don't guess I matter.
I got you. Yeah.
It's just a
Societal kind of
sure
thing. Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been with people before who have had an Apple Watch, and you're trying to talk to them.
Yeah. Yes. And they try to, hey, I can't barely hear you. Well, I'm trying to talk to you off my watch. Just answer your phone, man.
I know.
Yeah, answer your
So
phone.
my daughter has had one, and I've kind of toyed with the idea of using her. Nah.
Yeah, I know. You and I are.
The phone is bad enough.
I know. Yeah, it is. It is.
Sometimes it's nice just to throw it in the drawer and not have to worry about it. But,
Or throw it over the fence.
yeah.
Especially if it's an Android. Okay, so Friday night, 7 o'clock, pregame coverage will start at 6:30 on Yes FM 93.1. This will be streamed on Facebook on a couple different streams. We will pass those along to you as well on Sports U pages, the Athletics Twitter account, and maybe even in this video as well with links and things like that here on the LCISD YouTube channel. So, again, keep your Christmas lights away until Thanksgiving's here.
Well, let's try to celebrate one at a time.
Okay, yeah, just go in order, as Coach Sexton would say. Well, good luck Friday night.
Thank you.
Enjoy the crisp football weather, and we will talk to you next time. But for Chris Level, for Joe Sexton, for Colton Coons, this has been another edition of Patriot Talk.